Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Cardboard Coach Neil, and happy Memorial Day weekend 2025. It's a beautiful day here on the East Coast with a lot of rain this past week. Got my yard work done yesterday. The wife and I had a nice meal out last night at one of our favorite restaurants, and today I was able to go to a card show. So it's good stuff so far, and with tomorrow off, it gets better. Um, I went to this card show today. It's a very local show. It's a show I normally set up at this month, I should say. Taking a break from it, and it was good. It was a good show. It's very close, so I figured I'm going to go. Wasn't really expecting anything, but I will say I did run into none other than Sammy Thunder. First time ever meeting a YouTuber, and talk about one of the YouTube legends of the game, Sammy Thunder. There he was, and the fact that he actually recognized me, I kind of thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, it was great running into him and meeting him. Quick conversation with him. I'm surprised he was actually there where he's from, coming all the way down to Delaware. The guy is a card show warrior, so he's all over the place. But it was cool meeting Sammy, and I hope to meet some of you other guys very, very soon. So this show, it's not a big show. It's it's at a fire hall. It's mostly modern, a lot of TCG stuff, which I'm going to get to later on, and a small amount of vintage dealers. There wasn't a lot to choose from. I did pick up a few things, kind of small, but there were a couple pieces that I am going to be reaching out to the dealer that I know. He's always there. He had a couple new oversized items, which I'm going to keep close to my vest because I don't want Aaron or anyone else. Jason, I know that they're into oversized stuff as well, like a lot of people are. And what's interesting is, on a side note, one of my other videos where I talked about oversized stuff and how I was having a conversation with this particular dealer who's, again, he's always there. He always has some good stuff. Great to talk to. And we talked about oversized. This was, 5, 6, 7 months ago. So somewhat recent, but not much. We were having a conversation with another collector who was there too. And he was eyeballing up a piece that I was looking at as well. And we were talking about it. And he remembered me and him having the conversation about oversized and how it just wasn't selling. Over the past 2 months, he said, I can't even keep it in stock. He's like, I'm putting this stuff out and people are finally embracing it. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I guess it's good if you're trying to sell it, but it's bad if you're looking to buy it. So I thought I'd share that with you. Oversized stuff, it seems to be catching on because it's just very, very cool. But first, I didn't pick up much. Really nothing that I collect except for some Phillies and another thing just because it was just so awesome. First is a 1975 Hostess, Mike Schmidt, really good shape. I'm a big Mike Schmidt guy, being the Phillies collector that I am. Good clean cut on it. You can see the dotted lines. It was a pretty good cut. And nice clean back. Second was one of the greatest sets from post-war, in my opinion. But they're plentiful and they're affordable. And it's a 1964 Topps Giant. Johnny Callison had a great season that year. He was an all-star. But, really nice shape. And one of, in my opinion, this is one of the more underrated Hall of Famers. And, when it comes to some of, talk of the all-time greats, and certainly when it comes to the hobby, but this is his, I think, his greatest looking image. That's a 64 Topps Giant, Frank Robinson. And, these things, again, if you're looking to get some of these guys in, for a pre-war collection, those are some good examples to look at, because it's not going to set you back an arm and a leg. And, if you ever go to resell it, so, you're not going to lose. But again, you buy what you like, you buy what you can afford, follow those two, and you can't go wrong. So, like I was saying, this show that I set up at, it's a firehouse that I used to go to back in the day, in the early 80s, for baseball card shows as well. And, for about close to 15 years, when I was associated with Little League, we'd have our awards ceremony there. So that firehouse, it is kind of sentimental. There's a lot of things that have happened inside of that hall, all baseball related, whether it's cards or coaching. And it got me thinking, especially seeing in the hobby. I mean, again, it's mostly modern and ultra modern, not a lot of supplies, which I needed, and a whole lot of TCG. So just recently, I mean, I've heard this acronym TCG over and over again over the years. And for some reason, I always just was thinking Topps Chewing Gum. And, I knew it wasn't that, but I finally looked up, I don't know, inside of the past year, TCG. And it turns out, for those that don't know, and I'm probably the only one who didn't, it stands for the card game, which is Pokemon and Magic the Gathering and things along those lines. It's very, very popular. I don't know anything about it. I really don't want to know more about it, but I mean, it's everywhere. And it seems as if it's kind of taking over a lot of the shows, and a lot of the paying customers for admission, they're going there for that kind of stuff. Most of those tables were packed. Again, to each their own. You buy what you like. And, but I figured, you know what? I might as well talk about the OGs of TCG. And that's some baseball card games. So I like collecting sets, but type sets. I'm not a big complete set guy. I do like some players. I have a tendency to collect, players that I like. Pete Rose is one of them. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, guys like that. I do have some nice cards from those guys. Even some of the pre-war guys, which I'll show some other time. But I'm not a set guy, but I do like different types of cards. And one of the things I've been working on is just examples of as many different baseball card game that I can get. So I'm going to show you a few that I do have, and let's have at it. So I'm going to start back, I guess, from most recent. So the most recent one is the 1968 Topps game. And this is Richie Allen. I'll tell you, Phillies cards, they do have a tendency to pop. And, it's a nice clean back. These things were inserted into packs in 1968. And as you can see, Richie Allen's a line out, and Harmon Killebrew is a double. And my other example is a Willie Mays. He's a home run. So and they all have the same type of back. So what I'm going to guess, I haven't really looked into this, is that these cards were shuffled. You'd have two players. You'd shuffle them face down. And when you get 3 outs, it's the next guy's turn. A double's going to drive in a guy on first with a single. And whoever wins after 9 innings is the winner. So in the days the summer days that you could not play wiffle ball back in 1968 as a kid, this is probably what you would do, be playing this game. But they're really, really nice looking cards. Again, just a nice, cool design, and it's just a good way. These are again, they're cool, they're affordable, you can't go wrong. There's going to be a lot that I don't have, so I'm going to talk about the ones I do and some of the ones I do want to get. But the other one is Topps' first ever issue, and that's the 51 Topps. These are the 51 Topps game. This is Gil Hodges, recent Hall of Fame inductee. Long overdue, in my opinion. Certainly a fan favorite back in the day with Brooklyn and what he was able to do for the Mets. As a Phillies fan, I don't really care about that, but I got to recognize it. So he's finally in the Hall of Fame, and rightfully so. But these are nice cards. This is a great little set. It doesn't have a huge number of big-time Hall of Famers. I mean, Ted Williams could have been in this thing. Musial, a lot of guys. Joe D, he was still playing. I think the set would have a lot more appeal, for lack of a better way to put it, had those guys been in it. I mean, imagine a 51 Topps game of Mickey Mantle, or Mays, among others. So, but it's a great set. Again, same type of thing. This one is a strike. So there's there's red and there's blue back. I think there's about 51 cards for each one. I gotta have to double check that one. But it's probably the same type of thing where it's a shuffle up and deal type of situation. Whoever wins in 9 innings is going to be the victor. Excuse me. Next up is, now there is a card, and there are a number. 36 S&S game I don't have. Not a real huge fan. They're okay, but if I see one, I'll pick one up because I do want to get a nice little run of these things. But this one is something that I think every collector who wants to jump into pre-war should own. This is the Nap Lajoie card game. And this, just had to check, it's from 1913. I thought it was, but I wanted to double check. These come in the blue, the blue tint, which is what you see, and also the red tint. It's the same image. On the back, it's a little bit different. And, it's this is definitely not a shuffle up and deal type of card game. It's more of, I'm going to guess, like a roll the dice or spin the wheel. I had to do some research, but these things, I mean, look, Lajoie played in 1913. He was a hell of a player in his whole career, but in 1913, I mean, he's right there. It's like the kind of like the pinnacle of his career. I mean, he's really doing well. And these are a great way for a vintage, collector who wants to have a Lajoie card to get a Lajoie card from his playing days. I mean, it's just a really nice. I'm more inclined to buy the blue. The red, I heard, is a little bit more difficult. I don't know if that really affects pricing at all. They're both very attainable and affordable. Just a good little tip if you are looking to go down that route. Now, then, actually, I messed up because that's 1913, so I'm jumping back a year. And here's a card. This is one of the hobby heavyweights. He's one of the first 5 inductees into the Hall of Fame. And this is the only card I can ever imagine having of Hannes Wagner. And that's the 1914 Polo Grounds Hannes Wagner, excuse me. So this is a strike, which apparently, from what I understand, is a little bit tougher to get. The other one, I think, is a base hit. So on the back, real nice, picturesque image of the Polo Grounds, and which is a landmark in pre-war baseball. But this is a nice example. These cards, rounded corners, meant to be played with, but because the corners are rounded, you're going to find cards that are in kind of decent shape. But it's again, it's a great way to get a player from their playing days. And next up are two players that fit right into my Philadelphia Athletics type wheelhouse. And that's the 1913 national game. This is Connie Mack, who, second, I think he was the second class inductee. And real nice image. Again, that was a ball. So this is a kind of a shuffle up and deal type of thing. Nice little back. Also, the Tom Barker is very, very similar to this one. I don't have one of those examples. I will be getting one. So in the 20s, there was a Walter Mails type of Walter Mails game, not type, but a Walter Mails game, who also was a pitcher. He put out a game card set that I do not have an example of. They are tough to get. Commons are going to set you back a little bit. And the Hall of Famers that I know, I believe Rabbit Marinville is one, but the two that I do know are George Sisler and Walter Johnson. I've only seen one Walter Johnson ever, and that was on a YouTube video. It was Rick's Oddball Cards. Beautiful example. He's got a great collection. If you're not watching him, you should be, because he's got one of the best backdrops. He's right up there with Aaron from Value Vintage with one of the best backdrops where you're constantly looking to see what he has. And it's just a real good channel. But that's a game card I do want to pick up at some point. An example. Just I'll take anything. And one of the favorite cards in my collection. I owned this card a while back. I submitted this card. And like a knucklehead, I sold it. And I reached out to the guy that I sold, and this was, well over 10 years ago. He still had it. He got it reholdered with SGC, and he sold it back to me at a slightly inflated price, but as he should, but still got a great deal on it. So I'm going to consider that this was always my card. I was the first one to submit it, and that is the 1904 Fan Craze Eddie Plank. And again, it's kind of one of those things where it's got the same type of back. Didn't do a hell of a lot of research for this, but again, from what I'm reading, this is more like just like a card game where you shuffle them and you play until you have a winner. But the Eddie Plank, it's a great image, iconic image, used on his T206, which I will never be able to afford. And if I had one, I'd sell it and buy a ton of really cool pre-war cards. So that's it for this episode, if you will. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I appreciate everything. Meeting Sammy Thunder today and seeing the comments coming in. It is a community of knuckleheads that want to pay money for old vintage cardboard, but we're having fun. And, it is what it is. So thank you again for watching, and thanks for all the comments and for all the subs. I really appreciate it. And you guys have a good one.